Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be each and every Sunday night, where tonight, live on Top Split TV, we bring you round 10 of the Sunday Night Lights, season 19, on Top Split TV, as I said, but we're at Belle tonight, the Detroit street circuit. A lot of bumps, a lot of bruises potentially here tonight, but looking forward to a good one nonetheless. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again, as always, is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, big one ahead of us here tonight, no doubt.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. We got some big talent. We got a big soft, and we got a big track that we can have a little bit of a play around here on. Belle Isle, one of the more technical tracks that we visit on the schedule. Wall to wall carnage can be guaranteed sometimes, but I hope that our drivers can at least make it past turn three, Alex.
Absolutely. Turn three should be interesting throughout the race. But speaking of drivers, got a few big names out here tonight. Team Torpedoes, Tim Henriksen back for another tilt. Dennis Johansson, the Scandinavian driver, he is back again, all the way from Denmark, joining us once again for his another round, I should say, or another crack at the title. Jose Soria, the Iberian for Piston Sim Racing Team, he's joining us once again. Watch out for him in quali. Thomas Simon, he's very, very quick in a skippy, let me tell you. I think it's the first time we've seen him on a Sunday night, so keep an eye out for him. Cristobal Otero, he's back as well. They're your top five seeded drivers, but the quali times have started to drop, so we better stick them up on the side as well, Corey. There's quite a few people here tonight. In fact, can I tell you, it's the strongest strength of field. We've cracked 4,500. We're nearly at 4,600. Strongest field of the week by some margin.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, Alex. And it's an incredible strength of field, as we were alluding to earlier. And, when you got the likes of Mitch McLeod, who only just squeezed in as the 18th plated car, that is, an absolutely incredible feat. And even Ben Snell down in the 17th plated car. When's the last time we saw Ben Snell as a 17 car?
Yeah, mate, it's been some time. It looks like McLeod was the last one to sneak in, and you needed 32.31 to get your ticket to ride here tonight. 32.30 not enough. 31 was what you needed. Yeah, 4,594 is the strength of field tonight. And once again, the big boys have come out to play on a Sunday night. R70's Pablo Espez is back. Xavier Sanchez, there you go. There's a big name in streaming. Kenny 500, if I'm not mistaken, or I could be, from Iberia, Xavier Sanchez. Grebstad, Team Milo's own Håkon Grebstad, he's back for another tilt. Ollie Peacock, another one who's lightning fast in qualifying. Interesting to see how Ollie shapes up from UK&I. Marcelo Rivera, the ANZ driver, who will be up the front at the pointy end, I would suspect, can steer one of these cars for sure. But right up the top, Simon Tamaz has just set the fastest time, 42.3 in quali, if you don't mind. That's an outstanding time around here, Corey.
Yeah, that is absolutely blistering quick, Alex. And I'm probably about 3 seconds off that on my best day. So, yeah, that's an absolutely incredible time. And Marcelo Riviera just outdoing him with a 42.327, Alex. These drivers are going around pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, they're flying around, Corey. As you were saying, they're getting around there damn fast. We got Espez now. He's closing out his lap. He's under 42.7. I'll tell you what, I was wondering if we were going to hit the magic 41s here tonight. But probably no question now if they're doing 42 lows in quali, which is outstanding around here, can I tell you? Undrafted in quali on cold tyres, and they're slapping out low 42s. Just goes to show you that the guys around here really know how to get around it. But they're starting to wind down now, just under a minute and a half left in quali. I don't know if Rivera's doing a third lap. He has done a couple of races here tonight already, so maybe that time's yet to tumble even a bit further, Corey.
I'm having a look at my software at the moment. It looks like that was his third lap completed, Alex. So, you're warm up in your two flying laps. And surprisingly enough, Tim Hendrickson, our one-plated car, down in the 4th position. Not a position we usually see Tim end up in, Alex.
Yeah, having said that, he's only, what's that point? He's 86 100ths of a second behind, so it's not like he's too far behind. But I tell you what, it's a street circuit, and they are no easy things to get around in, or at least make a pass, by the way. But certainly this is one of the tighter tracks we will visit all season. And it's getting towards the end of the season too. Of course, round 10 here tonight of a 12-round season. Drop rounds well and truly in play. Speaking of scores, no Vascalampi here this week. No Temu Vascalampi. He's hung up the helmet for the time being. Xavier Sanchez now crossing the line. He's done a 42.9, was his best effort. Now, let's go take a look at our grid as quali has indeed run out. Marcelo Rivera, I should say, for ANZ on pole. Fantastic to see an ANZ driver up top once again. Thomas Simon, he's done a 42.3 as well to grab second step off the grid. P3 tonight went to Jose Soria, always great in qualifying for Piston Sim Racing Team. Tim Hendrickson for Team Torpedo, the Dutchman back again from P4 tonight. P5, Christian Perez, we know he's got a ton of pace. Let's see what he can do around the tight street circuit tonight. Ollie Peacock from UK&I in P6 tonight. Pablo Espes for R70 team. And Iberia in P7. And Rafael Wren Hoffer back for another tilt at Sunday Night Lights. He's starting out at P8. Breaking Bad Motorsports, Christian Gabanco back for another run out of P9. Xavier Sanchez from Iberia in P10 tonight on the grid. Dennis Johansson, his best qualifying, but he's starting in the Magic P11, folks. Watch out for a sneaky Johansson victory tonight. He loves starting out of P11. His 2 wins have come from there previously. Alexis Tapia-Vico from Iberia in P12 tonight. Cristobal Otero for a cross Simart competition. He's out of P13. Rod Pidnar, the ANZ driver, out of P14. Mitchell McLeod for Talk Inc. He's out of P15. Thomas Torp joining us tonight once again from P16. Håkon Grebstad, the Ovaltine driver, in P17. Team Milo's Ben Snell, the only Team Milo driver, out of P18 here tonight. As we said, strength of field tonight 45.95 with the track temp of 20 degrees to get us underway. The guys are gridding right now. There's about 10 seconds to go. I'm just going to try and find someone up near the front so we've got a decent look at it. As the revs start to build, the guys warming up their engines, a couple of them. Others content to sit quietly, visualising their races ahead of them as the revs do, in fact, start to rise. Red lights mean rev. Green lights mean go as the flag marshal vigorously waves his flag once again on the run down into the first couple of corners here tonight. Don't know about that angle. We'll grab this one. There we go. Rivera leading them out as they run down this first long straight in between turns 2 and 3. Turn 3 is where it's all about to unfold, let me tell you, because this is the hard braking zone. A lot of people trying to make moves early because they're tough to do later in the race, but everyone's playing quite nicely here. Even Ovaltine and Milo at the back are playing friendly in their chocolate drink rivalry, as we see Thomas now. Simon, I should say, he's going up the inside. Rivera's been pushed to the outside now. He's lost 2 places. He's under threat from a hard-charging Hendrickson. Loses the 3rd place, does he? No, he hangs on to P3 as Simon and Soria look to run away as best they can in this strong field, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And this is a time where everyone's going to be at their most vulnerable. With this being the street circuit, cold tyres do not play very nicely, as we see now a move being made from this position. Oh, there's contact. Oh, that has just caused a huge pile up there, Alex.
Oh, jeepers. It's the Woolies car park on a Saturday morning, let me tell you. Let's go and see what happened with that one. I think Perez was in the middle of it. As they come around the corner, he's up the inside. Oh, it's the 8 car there of Peacock up the inside. I think, or was it the outside? Sorry. There we go, up the inside. Very difficult to get it done there. A little bit of contact. Into the wall goes Perez, and he's got nothing to do there. No wheels barely left on the car. Nothing to brake, although he might have hit the pedal. potentially. And then there's a string of, oh, look at the damage there. Bits of skippy everywhere, as is the race of most. Look at McLeod. He's picked up a tyre on the way through. He's tried to take it with him as a souvenir, and then boof, off into the wall is McLeod, the final car 18. I'll tell you what, that has decimated this field core. As we jump back up the front, we still have a race on our hands with Simon and Soria running away. That's a bit of a tongue twister for you, with Hendrickson a full 1.1 seconds behind, with Rivera and Espes tucked in behind them as your top 5, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And I don't think that this is a track that really suits Hendrickson all that much. Although we have seen him be dominant here in the past, he just seems to be struggling a little bit here today. Whether it's the new Skippy or the new tyre model that's on the new Skippy, we don't know for sure. We know that he hasn't always been the biggest fan of the tyre model. But in saying that, he's still in P3 at the moment, showing us how it's done. He might be able to bridge this gap if he can get a little bit of speed going. But at the moment, it looks like it's Simon and Sawyer's race to lose from here, Alex.
Yeah, those two running very quickly out in front, the European and Iberian drivers, nose to tail. I tell you what, Soria is right up amongst it as they run through 12 and 13 now, out to close out lap number 2. I tell you what, there'll be a few drivers licking their wounds out of that. But I tell you who isn't, a bit further back, Johansson. He seems to have survived that one. He's gone through as he crosses the line at the end of lap 2, comes through this first 1-2 section. Very tricky to get right. If you keep the revs up, you can do it in the later laps in 4th gear, but certainly early on you're in 3rd to get the drive out, as we see once again Ovaltine and Milo playing nicely through these early stages, as we saw Grebstad leading out Snell there briefly. As we jump back up the front now, we see Simon and Soria still running away with this one, and they are out, if you can believe, to a 1.3 second gap. In fact, they've gained 2/10 on the chasing Hendrickson, Rivera and Espes in that last lap, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And this little group of 3, if they can get themselves hooked up together, there's a couple of really long straights here where you can pick up that draft and just absolutely work it nicely. And with Hendrickson in the lead, these guys could really start to, make a little bit of a notch into this gap that's ahead of them and make this a 5-car battle for the lead. But at the moment, it looks like they're not tearing into it too much. And it could just be that these tight little twisty sections that Tim might not be quite handling properly. It looks like he doesn't have any damage on his car, so I think it might just be general car pace that he's lacking around this track. But, it's still just surprising for me to see that Tim Hendrickson's not been as dominant as what we usually see him, Alex.
Yeah, perhaps what's more surprising is the lap times haven't started tumbling quite yet. They're only they are only just now matching their quality times, with the low 42s for the leaders, 42.3. Espes with a 42.2 so far, looks to be the faster, though Johansson is flying. He's got Sanchez tucked in behind him, but Johansson undrafted did it's a 43.2, I beg your pardon. I thought I had him pegged for the fastest lap of the race, but unfortunately he's almost a second off that as Sanchez goes through, drafting into turn 3. Johansson just lets him mildly by. We've got Grebstad and Snell tucked into a battle for the top 10 there, but meanwhile back up in front they are now full 1.6 seconds ahead of Rivera, who's got the move done. I'll tell you what, Rivera's got past Hendrickson. Why don't we go back and see if we can't find where that move got done. I'm going to say it was into turn 3 as we watch. We'll hop on board here with Rivera, and you'll see he pulls out into turn 3, gets the move done. It's just, look at the heavy braking there. You can see the rear of the car stepping out, and he's got that move done on Hendrickson into turn 3. Probably the most reliable overtaking place you will find on this track tonight. But I was wondering, Rivera had all that pace to score pole tonight. I was wondering how impatient or patient he was going to be sitting behind Hendrickson, as all the while he saw Soria and Simon driving away. And can I tell you, in just the half a lap he's been in front, they've already caught up 2/10, Corey. This race could still be on.
It very well could, Alex, but Rivera is not having it all his own way here in third. I've been watching while you're checking the replay of the overtake, and Hendrickson has just been absolutely hounding his gearbox, driving it like a man possessed. We could probably see another move on here going into turn 3 again as Hendrickson pulls over to the right side of the track. Got Espes just behind, just trying to find which guy that he wants to go with, possibly move himself up into fourth. And he is actually going to go for that move as well. And it looks like it's just going to be unsuccessful. Espes going to stay in fifth, but Hendrickson back up into P3 now, Alex.
Oh, I tell you what, Rivera won't be happy with that. They were gaining nicely, and now they're back to... They lost 3/10 out of that compromised corner there for Hendrickson. They were 1 point... In fact, it's even more than that. I think they were down to about 1.4 seconds or something. Now it's nearly 2 seconds. I'll tell you what, that's not how you get to bridge a gap in these cars. And they're full 2 seconds behind. And you look at him already looking to poke the nose in his Rivera. He's right up the inside there, showing the nose at 7. Through 8 and 9, this really central choke point. There's no overtaking through here, as we found out earlier in the Rican Arrow races, I tell you. But now into the first gear, right-hander at 11. Again, this really only a couple of places you really want to poke the nose and have a good look at overtaking, and there's not too many of them here as they flick through third gear now all the way through this final corner at 13. A little bit of a it's not even a kink really, they don't count it as a corner here, this final little right hand bend, but over the line now at the end of lap 5. I'll tell you what, will Rivera have another look? My money's on yes. I don't know about you, Corey.
I'm not sure, Alex, because he's got a little bit of an air gap here, and I think he might have just touched the wall there coming out of 2. Doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to make a move into 3 this time. But in saying that, he could be trying to save it for the back straight going into 7, which is the other big overtaking opportunity. But in saying that, turn 7 is not generally the greatest of places to try and make an overtake, as we see them kick up the dust on the left side of the track there, coming through this little S section of 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, absolutely. The other place you can overtake is into 7 at the end of this straight that they're coming on now. A bit of blinky bill for Rivera there. Of course, the Australian New Zealand drivers always suffer when we typically race overseas, but that's the nature of the racing on the internet. You want to be part of it. Sometimes you've got to put up with a bit of that. But here we go into the braking zone at 7 this time. Nothing doing there for Rivera. Meanwhile, up front, still tucked in behind Soria, racing smart with Simon. Now, they are trying to run away with it as they come into 11, this dog leg of a very tight first gear corner, and they are trying to run away with it. Now, 2.1 seconds, nearly 2.2 as that chasing pack in the distance you can see there. Behind them, you've got Wren, Hoffer and Johansson. I beg your pardon. Wren, Hoffer's running a lone race, but Sanchez and Johansson are charging hard, although they're a little bit off the pace. The Thomas Simon, he's just done a 41.9, undrafted if you don't mind. Thank you very much for coming. Johansson, as I was just saying, he's just done a 42.4, so he's about half a second off that pace, and Sanchez tucked in behind him. They're not making an impression like we thought perhaps they might do, but that just goes to show you how strong the driving is around here tonight.
Well, that's exactly right, Alex, and just as you say that, we've got a 3 wide going into turn 3, and Espes has just done them all and gone up into 3rd, but Hendrickson's not going to let that sit as they're coming through turn 4 now. Hendrickson on the outside as they're coming towards 5. Espes with the preferred line. He's going to take away that 3rd position. He's mugged them both, Alex. That was a crazy little stat of affairs there.
I think a mugging is about how I'd sum that up as well. That's not how you win friends and influence people, Pablo, my friend. In fact, I'm going to go back and take a look at that little series in there. As they came out of the exit of 1 here, this is 1 and 2. This set it all up. Let's have a look at what unfolded there. That was quite something. They were 3 wide there on the run into 3. Let's see what happens. We see Espes pulls out early. He wants the 1 spot Oh, and then Rivera. Oh, I've put the blame on Espes, but a little bit of netcode contact there. That's got the. Oh, look at the entry angle there, Espes though, so tight. There's no speed in that, boys. To be fair, Espes made the move quite early, but yeah, they're not going to bridge any gaps doing that. In fact, those three are now 4 seconds behind this front pair. It's really now a run between our front two of Simon and Soria, Corey.
Yeah, and that is unfortunate for our Australian contingent, which at the moment is being led by Rivera. But I'm still watching this second pack, Alex. We're going along the main straight. I'm going to call it the main straight, even though it's not. And it looks like Hendrickson's going to try and make a move to take third place back. This time the boys are playing a little bit nicer. Although Espes still trying to stick his nose up there on the outside of Hendrickson. Not going to do it as we come through the section of 4, 5, and 6. These guys are racing very hard, Alex, and I definitely don't think they're going to be able to catch the front pack while they're doing all this position swapping and battling.
No, exactly right. Through turn 6 now, onto the big back straight. It's the other passing opportunity that, of course, brought so many unstuck on lap 1. Ollie Peacock poking the nose up the inside of Perez, and that didn't work out. And perhaps these guys learning a lesson from that, I don't know, but no one's looking up the inside of 7 at the end of that big back straight, which perhaps they'll save that little trick for the closing stages, but certainly all the action so far at turn 3 tonight, which is perhaps what we expected, but these three are certainly putting on some kind of show as they come to the conclusion of lap 8. 7 laps to go as they cross the line this time to start out lap 9 as their leaders now crossing. Can't believe we're into the 41s undrafted. That's must be a good track, but I tell you what, there's some good drivers out there too. A 41.7. I tell you what, I just checked the 2 lap times there. There was about, I think there was about 1,000th, literally a 1,000th between Simon's last lap and the one before. That's what you call consistency, folks. And behind them, though, they're about 2.5 tenths off the pace, and they're certainly not going to catch the leaders. And I think they should all but give up now. 4.7 seconds behind this second group of cars with Rivera on the tail end. Then you've got Wren, Hoffer, Sanchez and Johansson seem to be working together, but again, they're only doing 42.2s. Again, still half a second off the pace. The magic 11 spot on the grid not helping Johansson here tonight. Grebstad and Snell fighting out their own little private chocolate drink battle for P9 and 10 in the standings. They'll see that one out to the end. As we jump up now, we see Soria showing the nose into 7 this time round, but certainly not throwing anybody's race away for now, because these two, the 3rd and 4th seated drivers, look how close Soria is underneath the back wheels there of Simon as they head through 11 now. Tell you what, he can't get much closer than that, Corey.
No, he can't, Alex, and we had a little bit of a development here in the second pack. Looked like Espes went a little bit too deep into turn 7 there. Maybe a little bit of a touch from Rivera, maybe just a little bit of braking too deep, but he missed the corner quite significantly and is now sitting behind Rafael Hoffer in the 6th position, Alex. Yeah, that's right, Alex. And as the laps start ticking down, these guys are going to start getting a lot more aggressive. I think we're going to start seeing some positional changes happening for the front two positions. Whether they're going to start it now with 5 laps to go, or whether they're going to leave it until 2 or 3 laps to go, we're going to yet wait to see. But just keeping a quick little eye on them here as we're working down the main straight. Looks like Sawyer is just quite content to sit there in P2 for now, as he has been the entire race so far. But we know Sawyer very well, Alex, and we know that he's going to get a little bit impatient just sitting here in second. He's going to have to make that move at some point very soon.
Yeah, well, you got the balance of 4.5 to go as they come through 4, 5, 6 now. Through 5 onto 6. He looks to be content to sit there, to be honest. Then we've got Rivera chasing down Hendrickson. That gap just under a second now. Wren, Hoffer, I'll tell you what, this is where the action is, though. Side by side they are. You've got Espes, Wren, Hoffer, Sanchez and Johansson. There are some racy individuals in this little pack. And with 4.5 to go, I reckon this is where all the drama's going to unfold, Corey.
I definitely expect it will, Alex, as we see 2 by 2 again with, I think that's Sanchez trying to make it the long way around the outside of Hoffer, and he gets the move made into turn 7. I don't think I've ever seen an outside move work in turn 7, Alex. That is just an incredible feat of racing right there.
Absolutely. I think he got a bit of help from Hoffer, who was very conservative on the inside. And I tell you what, you could already see the marbles building up on the outside too, which probably compromised Sanchez even more. But Hoffer helped him to get it done in some respects. Very conservative through there. Thinking discretion, obviously, the better part of valor. Now we've got Rivera up. He's now within 8/10 of Hendrickson there. That will be a battle come the last lap or so, with 4 laps remaining this time round. Well and truly in the draft, as it looked like Hendrickson might have clipped the wall a little bit. Now we'll watch this battle here. We've got Espes, Sanchez, Hoffer and Johansson into turn 3. I'll tell you what, that was somewhat deflating. I was expecting a lot more out of that into turn 3. As we drop back to the battle of the chocolate milk, I'll tell you what, these two, this one's fizzled out a bit. Grebstad and Snell, 1.7 seconds apart. We might just jump back up to the front. These two still running a merry dance. 41.7 last lap for Tamas. That's the fastest lap he's done. Rivera's done a 41.6 in the draft of Hendrickson, and I think that's probably the fastest lap of the race. Oh no, there's a 41.6 to be about it. You're not going to see too many quicker than that. Now we got 2 by 2 into 7. They go again. Sanchez, oh look out! The 15 of Espes has clipped the wall. Has the magic repairing Skippy done its job? I think the droids have, yeah, it looked like it has. That wheel's still firmly planted on that car as they go 2 by 2 through 11. You don't see that terribly often. I'll tell you what, it's not the fastest rate around here, 2 by 2, but they're still doing it. Sanchez and Espes, oh, surely they're not going to make it through there clean. Oh, here comes Johansson. Get out of my way, he says. I want to get through and get me some of this. Sanchez now coming off the inside. Oh, I tell you what, that's a Skippy sandwich. 3 wide into turn 1, is it? Yeah, Sanchez gets the outside line. Espes makes room, and Hoffer shuffled back to the tail. I tell you what, it was pretty meek and mild into turn 3, but ever since then, Corey, it's been action aplenty as Hoffer looks to go up the inside of turn 3 if he can get it done.
These guys are definitely putting on a clinic right now, Alex. If you want to know what good racing is, just have a look at this little battle here. These guys are racing like it's for the top step of the podium. It's amazing to see, and it's amazing to see that none of them actually ended up crashing because of that. These guys are very skilled drivers, and they're good at what they do, and they're just showing that exactly right now as we head out of turn 6 down the long back straight towards turn 7. We might see a little bit more action here, Alex, and here's hoping that we do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, these guys have put on a show here. And remember, folks, this is for P5, not for the win, but it just shows, oh, I'll tell you what, it's concertina there at turn 7 once again, but they've still got it done. You can hear the crunching metal as cars get that a little bit too close to the walls around here. A little bit of rubbing on the walls never hurt. so to speak. Well, open wheelers it can hurt, of course, but they're a little. Oh, I tell you what, that sounded like a nice crunch to the rear left of Johansson's car. As once again, we have Sanchez looking up the inside at 12 now through 13. Their line astern. Once again, this battle for P5 is really where the action is at the moment. Rivera up in fourth, not really making an impression on Hendrickson like we thought he would. Oh, here we go. Sanchez up the inside. He says, whatever you can do, Johansson, I can do better. But no, the Danish driver holds him off. That's not the move that we saw last lap. Was, Johansson, he's going to go defensive into 3. We've got 1 or 2 laps remaining this time around. This is where you want to position because, Esper's up the inside. Is he going to go? No, he's just held
Alex, we've had a crash for the lead.
Oh,
Sawyer and Simmons were side by side.
Oh, let's go back and have a look. See if we can't pick it up. Side by side through 4, then through 5. What's happened? Oh, that's a racing incident with a bit of net code. The 4 car into the wall. Hit the eject button, son. Please hit the eject button, son. You got to get out. Oh, and Hendrickson, the exploding Skippy. Wonder if he gets his wheel back out of that, or if he's continued. So yeah, that's an unfortunate racing incident by the looks there, Corey.
Indeed it was, Alex, and we got some action with that battle pack again. Johansson defending hard from Sanchez, who's trying to work his way around the outside of 9 and 10. Unable to get it done this time, but these guys are still pouring on the pressure. Now that they know it's for 4th and 5th, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. There, although Johansson, a little bit of wiggle off the wall there, keeps the car a bit of a straighten up if you don't mind. But these guys are battling for P4. Rivera now, he's 6/10 behind the magically repaired Hendrickson. These guys now come through the first few corners. This battle for 4th now really going to heat up as we are on the final lap. And Soria is going to run away with this one. But these guys, I'll tell you what, this will be interesting to turn 3. And we've got Johansson and Sanchez who race together all race. Johansson looks to have had enough of a gap. Espers, he'll be in there. He'll be in there for all the chocolates. Don't you mind about that. And he's come out. Oh, I tell you what, it was a late cover off too. Hoffer up the inside this time round. No, Sanchez has hung on to it. These guys, turn 7 will be interesting. Soria now off on his own. Hendrickson, he's got a hard charging Rivera, some half a second behind. I thought Rivera would make more of a dent, but he has not on this occasion. There's no move to be had there. This is the battle you want to see right now. I'll tell you what, Espers has dropped about half a second behind. Turn 7 in the braking zone. What's Sanchez going to do? He's going to tuck in behind. Nothing doing there. These guys are going to finish as meek and mildly. Up the inside. He can't do it there, surely. No, Johansson holds his line and holds onto it. And it looks like he might run. Oh, but that's really compromised Sanchez now. He's got Espers all over the tail end of his car. I don't think he'll get it done, though. As we see Soria now, he will come across for a famous SNL victory as he crosses the line to take out first position. Hendrickson now following suit to grab P2 and Rivera grabbing P3. How's this mob going to finish now? We got Johansson. He's come through for P4. Sanchez behind Espers and Wren, Hoffer. I tell you what, they finished quite meek and mild compared to how they raced earlier on the race, wouldn't you say, Corey?
They definitely did, Alex, but it wasn't without trying. They were definitely trying to do the moves where they could there on that final lap. But it's good to see that everyone managed to finish the race there. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the 4 car of Simon. Unfortunate set of circumstances there for him, finishing a lap down. And it looks like he's going to be finishing up in about 13th position there, Alex. So even out of the SNL points.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I might see if we can go back and take another look at that incident. They were racing, I mean, realistically, Soria sat there the whole night, just in the draft there. I thought he might try down into turn 3 here. But as we watch the replay, Simon's forced him to the outside. You know, that's fair enough too. Taking the defensive line, it compromises your speed, but by the lead that they had, they were fine. Yeah. We see Soria take the 1X. That's fine. And then it was all here where it came unstuck, if I'm not mistaken. So we slow it right down. Have we got a better angle on that? No. Here we go. This might be the one. So they came in. They're not too bad. No, that angle is not the one. And it's just that compromised line there. And it looks like, oh. Yeah, look, it's a racing incident. I'd have to say it's not your typical line through there. We'll try and find a bit better angle on that if we can. Maybe on board. No. The front. Let's do that and go on Soria. And let's see what happens here. He comes up the inside. I think he was just a bit narrow. Oh, I'll tell you what, he's been fairly squeezed though. There's not really a skippage room between there and the apex. And if Soria hits the apex, he's going to bounce out and hit him anyway. Oh, look, just a racing incident. I think at the end of the day, neither of them intending ill will to the other after at the end of the day. I don't think they're Corey, but yeah, I personally put it down to racing incident, but that's one for the ages nonetheless. As we look through our results, oh, that's the grid. We don't want that one. Sorry, let's not do that. Let's do the grid. All right, let's do the results this time. How about that? All right, round 10 from the Detroit or Belle Isle circuit, as it's more affectionately known. Jose Soria for Piston Sim Racing Team. He's come out on top tonight. Tim Hendrickson for Team Torpedo has hung on for P2 after an earlier brush with death. In fact, a couple. Marcelo Rivera for ANZ, he's coming home in P3 tonight. Dennis Johansson from Denmark, he's come out in P4, lucky number 11, not quite working out, starting P11 tonight, didn't really go the way he might have otherwise expected given his previous results. P5, Iberia's Xavier Sanchez in a tooth and nail battle with Johansson all throughout. Pablo Espes in P6 tonight for R70 team. An eventful race for him, that's for sure. Rafael Hoffer back with us once again. He's finished in P7. He was probably expecting to finish a little bit further up, but then the action came to him. P8, Håkon Grebstad for Team Ovaltine. P9, Ben Snell, the only Team Milo and Ovaltine representatives here tonight. Rod Pidnar for ANZ, he's up 4 spots into P10. Alexis Tapia Vico for Iberia, he's in P11 tonight. Cristobal Otero for Across Simart Competition, great to see him back regularly in the series. He's in P12 tonight. Thomas Simon, someone who I hope we see a bit more of, if I'm honest. He's a pretty quick driver around in these cars. He's unfortunately that incident at the end there saw him down in P13. P14, Thomas Torp back for another run. P15, Christian Kabanka for Breaking Bad Motorsports. I tell you what, these last few, they were caught up in that early incident, I think, and as was Christian Perez from Iberia in P16. Ollie Peacock, P17. He was down 15 laps, as was Mitchell McLeod for Torque Inc. He was down 15 laps after going out on lap 1. Strength of field, as we said, 45.95. Apart from that big incident at the start, the quality I thought was pretty high up there, representative of the SOF, and Marcelo Rivera with a 41.2 took out the fastest lap tonight, Corey.
And that is an incredible time, Alex. And the racing has been absolutely top notch. And yeah, we did have that one early incident which took a lot of the fast running guys out of contention. But at the end of the day, that's racing. It happens. And we're still treated to an amazing show. Couple of great battle packs that we were watching throughout the race, and they were definitely turning it on. They must have known that they were on camera, or else why else would they have been driving that hard? And all in all, it's just been a really great race and a really great season. And I look forward to seeing what these guys can do again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we've got a few people waiting for a chat. I'm just trying to see finishing order. Would see us with Mr. Johansson first up. Dennis Johansson, welcome back to the Top Split TV commentary booth, mate. I bet starting at P11 tonight, you're expecting a bit further up the order, perhaps.
Yeah, well, didn't do any practice the last couple of days. So I was a bit rusty, but I went fully for P11. Alex, you know what happens normally when I start P11, but
I do.
today was not the case, sadly.
Nah, that's right, mate. But certainly there's some action towards the end that brought you up near the point end. But that racy pack there with Sanchez, Espes, and Wren Hoffer, I'll tell you what, there was some action there in the later stages of the race. A bit of fun for you, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely good fun. And from my position, it looked fairly safe-ish. But again, there could be an accident any time, so I had to try and go for it. It's safer to be in the lead than in the back in those groups, I guess. So had to go for it.
Yeah, some 2x2 action in unexpected places, I have to say. But you're right. Sometimes better to be on the front, and particularly at a circuit like this where the overtaking is not easily come by, mate. But listen, thank you very much for joining us once again. Always great to have you here. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Now, of course, to you guys and all the people on the stream, of course, who comes and visit my stream. And a Brucey, a Brucey Racewear. You should go check those guys for your new gloves and your new boots. It's quality stuff, and yeah, it's really good. So have a look at that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dennis. Great to see you back on track, mate. We look forward to seeing you again in the coming weeks.
Thanks, buddy. Take care, man.
Yeah, Corey, Mr. Johansson, sounds like he's picked up a new sponsor, which is great to see, and always great to see him out on track as he picks his way through the carnage of that opening lap. Tell you what, he's done pretty well. Look at the death and destruction all around him, and he's just driven through it like it wasn't there, as we see once again. Flying wheels and flying skippies, just unraveling everywhere, and he's still got a time to put on a show for the fans coming out of turn 8 there, the rear of the car stepping out magnificently. Well, we do have our next person in the finishing order. I think it was Ovaltine that took out the top honours in the chocolate milk drink tonight. As a result, we've got Mr. Håkon Grebstad joining us for Team Ovaltine tonight, finishing in P8. But certainly the battle early on was on with the chocolate drinks, wouldn't you say, Håkon?
It sure was. Most of my position gains there was people crashing up, but yeah, my pace was not great as I had no previous races this week. This was my first one, so not enough track time. But yeah, me and Ben had some fun until he hit a couple of walls and ruined his car, so I just drove away after that.
Yeah, look, it looked like it was going to be on for young and old, and it was on throughout the field, I have to say. I don't know, how did you pick your way through that lap 1 incident? That looked fairly messy.
It was, man. Just luck, really. Cars all over the place through that corner, and yeah, just right place, right time.
Yeah, sometimes, that's what it takes. You can have all the pace in the world, but you can get caught up in someone else's incident just as easy as not. So sometimes luck goes your way, mate, and I'm glad it did tonight. Listen, thank you for joining us. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just thank you guys for putting this on, and happy 17th of May.
Yeah, beautiful. That's your national holiday, isn't it?
It's our national day, yes, in Norway.
Yeah, perfect. Well, congratulations to all the Norwegians out there. I hope you had a good day today. And thanks for joining us again, Håkon, mate. We'll talk to you in the weeks to come.
Take care, boys.
There you go, Corey. You learn something every day. It's not Australia Day. It's, I don't even know what you call it. I should have asked, shouldn't I? Norway Day, maybe? I don't know. What do you reckon?
Oh, you put me on the spot there, Alex. I'm not too sure. I reckon it'd just be a national holiday. If they're anything like Australia, a bunch of blokes getting pissed. But that's what we love about our national holidays. It's an excuse to come together and just celebrate anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Everyone's always up for a good time, and there's a good race there by Håkon. He started deep in the pack and worked his way up to eighth. A +9 for the race, especially around Belle Isle. That is an incredible feat, Alex.
Yeah, indeed it is. Well, we've got a few late starters coming to join us here tonight, including our race winner, Mr. Sawyer. Jose, welcome. First time in the commentary booth with us here tonight, mate. Congrats on the win. Looked like you were tucked in behind our leader, Thomas Simon, there for quite some time, and then a late race incident saw you run away with it, mate. How did you enjoy your race tonight?
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Tamas because even though I guess it was more of a like a racing incident, I don't know. I guess I could have avoided it. So yeah, I feel bad for him. But yeah, before that, it was a pretty fun race. We managed to run away from Tim because it was a small off, or I think it was Marcelo behind us and Tim. So Thomas and I just ran away with it. And yeah, I just held for the whole race behind him. And yeah, when I tried to attack at the end, well, it didn't end too well, I guess. But yeah, still happy to have won the race.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Yeah, I thought it was probably a racing incident as well. Just two guys going in a corner side by side where they'd stayed line astern the whole race, and these things happen. Unfortunate as it was, certainly the pace was on out there tonight. Some blistering times. A 41 mid to low around here, or 41 mid is crazy. So. Fantastic driving regardless. But congratulations on the win, mate. Great to see you up there in amongst it again and putting together a good quali as well as a win, mate. So a good race. So congratulations on that. And anyone you'd like to give a shout out to while you're here?
Yes, so thanks, guys. And well, as always, I'll give a shout out to you guys for putting in the work with the broadcast and yeah, and organizing the top split.
Yeah, thanks, mate. And we look forward to seeing you again in the not too distant future, hopefully right up in the business end as well. So congratulations once again.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Great to see Thomas Simon in the chat too. He reckons it was probably a racing incident as much as anything, and said perhaps he should have left more room. Look, it's hard to say. Again, can't say it too often. It was just a racing incident, Corey, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
Well, that's exactly right, Alex. And you know what they say about hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. The way that we saw it was just a racing incident. And unfortunately, incidents like that happen. It's more unfortunate that it happened to the two leaders at the time who had been dominating the entire race. But it was a great job to Jose for getting the win. Unlucky to Tanis, but hopefully we can see Tanis more in the future because he is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with if we start seeing him more often in these races, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. I for one, am looking forward to that if that's the case because he's good value and certainly knows how to steer. That's for sure. Well, our next driver in for a quick chat is Team Torpedoes, Tim Hendrickson. Tim, mate, the early racing for position seemed to cost you the leaders, and then you got one back at the end, mate.
Was the combination of fighting and my lack of talent this race that really hurt my my position, but I had some fun and that's all that counts.
Yeah, mate, that's the main thing. That's why we do it. And I don't know about the lack of talent there, mate, but certainly it looked like you're having a bit of fun out there with Rivera and Espes. Certainly making things interesting, if nothing else. But still, P2 got a bit of luck there at the end. Plus, you managed to get in front of that very racy pack. So can't be too displeased with that.
And of course, happy to be back again on Sunday Night Lights, the greatest Skippy racing series that.
Yeah, we do appreciate that, Tim. Thanks for that, mate. Listen, while you're here, do you want to give your buddies at Team Torpedo a shout out?
Team Torpedo is the greatest racing team. I also want to thank my girlfriend Dagmar for supporting me while I'm. She look. Oh no, okay. I'm not supposed to give her a shout out. Yeah. Thanks.
Well, we will. Shout out to Tim's new girlfriend or old girlfriend. I don't know. But great to see him getting some support. Anyway, thanks again for joining us, Tim, mate. And look forward to seeing you in the weeks to come.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Tim, Corey, some family-friendly action from Mr. Hendrickson tonight. But look, he's... bit of luck went his way as well tonight. We probably felt he was a bit off the pace, but still managed a 41.4 around here, which is no slouch for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And he did that undrafted on the last lap as well. So Tim's definitely got pace. It just looked like he wasn't too comfortable early on with the car. And, he did say that he might have been lacking a little bit of talent. I think he was just uncomfortable with the car in the early laps. I'm not sure how much practice he got for the race. but he definitely showed up and came and done what he came to do. And P2 at the end of the day is definitely not a bad position, especially when we haven't seen him all too much this season. Hopefully, we can get him back for a few more races next season.
Yeah, absolutely. As we might just turn that silly music off in the background. Buttons are plenty here tonight. Now, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't sneeze at P2 in this sort of field, but we do have Mr. Ben Snell, Team Milo's own Ben Snell, who managed to hang on for P9 tonight. I was going to say, Ben, I can't see this being one of your tracks. The walls are just too big and too close, mate.
Oh, look, I don't like the walls at all. This track, I was streaming tonight, and I called the stream the Skippy Death Bowl 3000 because that's what every race has been like on this track, and I can't stay away from the edge of the track, and unfortunately for me, that means I like to 0x all of my quality laps, and I've been starting at the back every race, and some I survive and some I don't, and thankfully this one I kind of survived enough to get through and go home for P9, so I'll take it.
Yeah, look, we were looking forward to the battle of the chocolate drinks. Unfortunately, it didn't quite shape up, but still, Ovaltine got dare I say, the chocolates on the night. But hopefully, there'll be many more battles ahead. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight, mate?
Yeah, shout out to Grebo for splitting the pack went through that carnage on lap 1 because I literally didn't pass a single soul this race that wasn't dead. So yeah, thanks to Grebo for being my shield, and of course, big shout out to Team Milo, and Russell says hi.
Beautiful, thanks, Ben. All right, mate. Well, hopefully, again, we'll see you back on track next week. We've got 2 rounds to go, so it'd be great to see you out there, and we look forward to talking to you then.
No worries. See you next time.
There you go. Corey, that about rounds us up for the interviews, but great to see that familiar face of Ben Snell. Of course, Snellavision on Twitch for those of you who would like to check him out in the first person. Fantastic to see him out there once again.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And again, just like Hawkon, +9 for the race at a track of this caliber. He's lucky he survived. If we're completely honest, because we usually see him off in the weeds and doing donuts. But I thought a track like this might have suited him a little bit better. Being a drifter that he is, used to getting those clipping points and not running over them. And this track is one entire clipping point when you really think about it in the bare bones of things. But at the end of the day, he survived. It was a good run for him, and he's in the SNL points. So it's all on the up and up for Ben, even though he might not have had as great of a race as what he thought he did.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, that might do us for another week. Thank you very much, everyone, to join us on Track and Off. We love putting on this show for you guys, and it's for the community, by the community, as we always say. So, Corey, what's ahead for you this week?
So this week, on Tuesday, we've got the Fast Lane Esports Dirt Series that I've been running. That's going to be the fixed pro late models and the open 360 sprint cars. I'm not sure of the track at the moment. I haven't actually been bothered to check. A little bit scared about it, actually. On Wednesday, over at the Aussie Sim Commentator channel, twitch.tv/Aussie_Sim_commentator, we have the return of the Output Racing League as they go and tackle their shortened version of the Coca-Cola 600 for Charlotte. On Thursday night, I've got ODSE 360 Power Series from Volusia, one of my stronger tracks, so hopefully I'll be able to do well and possibly make a feature race in that. Friday morning, if I wake up in time, I'll be going to do the NIS Coca-Cola 600. It's the full-length race this week, Alex. 600 miles. It's going to be crazy. And then, of course, Friday night race club, we've got the V8s at Bathurst for 32 laps, Alex.
Jeepers, that's 600 miles, did you say? Damn, that's even more. Anyway, that's certainly a full week ahead of you. But as we ride on board with our race winner, Jose Soria, once again, this is where you can find all things Top Split, folks. The The podcast is actually now up on the YouTube channel. Won't be on the webpage for too much longer as we mix things up a little bit. But otherwise, folks, this race replay, like all the others, will be up on the Top Split YouTube channel as well. The Discord server is where you will find us doing the broadcast, and you can join us for post-race interviews as we like to do. But everything else is on the screen of where you find us. But thank you once again, everyone at home, on track and in the stream. We do enjoy having your company and do appreciate your support. And on behalf of my co-commentator, Mr. Corey Steinhauser, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and until next time, ciao for now.